This is going to be my very first time recording an official video within the new property, and I'm very excited because this is the first time in what feels like an eternity that I'm able to record during daylight. You can probably hear the slight sound of birds outside, and you might hear Luna, sleepy little puppy that she is, in the background, and you might also hear the sound of our neighbor's children. I think that all of those sounds combined actually work pretty well for the video that I have planned today, because we're going to be delving into different poems that are geared toward the garden. If anything sounds too aggressive or intrusive, I'll try to be cognizant of that and edit it out. But I'm also not one to try to overwrite background noises with additional background noises. So everything that you're hearing in the background is real life. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. These are favorite poems for the garden, and it's specifically a gardener's collection. You can see in the background there's a trellis of sorts that has a climbing plant. There are a couple shrubs and trees that have been trimmed up nicely, and a peony, it appears, maybe a rose. Not really sure what kind of flower that one is, but it kind of sets the scene beautifully. So I'm not actually able to see where this is aligned for you, but I did kind of scope it out prior to beginning filming, so hopefully we're not too far off from center. I've gone in and actually placed little yellow sticky tabs on the different poems that I wanted to read for you, and I chose yellow instead of pink because the yellow kind of reminded me of sunshine. And I wanted to really hone in on the feeling of a garden. I might not pronounce everything perfectly. There are a couple words that I'm unfamiliar with. Rather, the likelihood that I encounter words with which I'm unfamiliar is fairly high. I have a little pen here, and the pen is actually from a winery. You're supposed to mark on the different pages what you thought of the wines and whether you intend to order or not, but it had a very nice tapered point at the end, and I figured it might work well as a guide as we read these poems. This first one is called In a Garden by Horace Holly. I stood within a garden during rain, uncovering to the drops my lifted brow. O joyous fancy, to imagine now I slip with trees and clouds, the social chain, alone with nature, not to lose or gain, nor even to become. No, just to be a moment's personal essence, wholly free from needs that mold the heart to forms of pain. Arise, I cried, and celebrate the hour. Acclaim serener gladness. If it fail, new courage, nobler vision will survive. That I have known my kinship to the flower, my brotherhood with the rain, and in this vale have been a moment's friend to all alive. So I really, really like that one, because one of the ways that I recharge is to actually escape to nature. So that really resonated with me, because when you're in nature, you don't have to be anything or anybody. All your worries just kind of dissolve. This one is called An April Morning by Bliss Carman. Once more in mid-set April, the world is growing green. Along the winding river, the plumy willows lean. Beyond the sweeping meadows, the looming mountains rise, like battlements of dreamland against the brooding skies. In every wooded valley, the buds are breaking through, as though the heart of all things no languor ever knew. The golden wings and bluebirds called their heavenly choirs. The pines are blued and drifted with smoke of brushwood fires, and in my sister's garden, where little breezes run, the golden daffodillies are blowing in the sun. Now I'm wondering, I'm not sure if that's daffodils or daffodillies. With the IES, it makes me think it's daffodillies. It would just be an S if it was daffodils, but I'd never heard it said like that before. It's getting slightly more complicated to hold the pages open. As we get farther into the book, I imagine that will increasingly be a trend, but hopefully we'll be able to persevere and not let this slow us down. This poem is called The Morning Glory, and it's by Florence Earle Coates. Was it worth the while to paint so fair thy every leaf, to vein with faultless art each petal, taking the boon light of air of summer so to heart, to bring thy beauty unto perfect flower, then, like a passing fragrance or a smile, vanish away beyond recovery's power? Was it, frail bloom, worthwhile? Thy silence answers, life was mine, and I, who pass without regret or grief, have cared more to make my moment fine, because it was so brief. In its first radiance I have seen the sun. Why tarry then till comes the night? I go my way, contented that I have been part of the morning light. I didn't realize that I'd actually obstructed part of that, so I hope that in removing the sticky sticky tap, it didn't remove any of the whimsy from that poem. As I go through and edit, if I don't like the way it reads, then I might just take it out entirely, but that's not a right now issue. This one is called The Garden by Gertrude Huntington McGiffert. That's quite the name. Old gardens have a love language of their own, and mine sweet speech to linger in the heart. A goodly place it is, and primely spaced, with straight box-boarded paths of squares of bloom. Bay trees by rows of antique urns tell tales of ones who loved the garden Dante loved. Magnolias edge the placid lily pool, and flank the sagging seat, whence vista leads to blaze of rhododendrons banked in green. Azaleas by the scarlet quince flame up against the lustrous grapevines trellised high, to pigeon cotes and old brick wall where hide first snowdrops and the bravest violets, a place of solitudes whose silences enfold the heart as an unquiet bird. It really is becoming quite difficult to trail along the pages with this. Maybe next time what we'll do is get something to hold down the corners so that I don't have to try to avoid obstructing words while also holding the pages open. Try to do like so, perhaps. Stairways and Gardens by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Gardens and stairways, those are words that thrill me, always with vague suggestions of delight. Stairways and gardens, mystery and grace seem part of their environment. They fill all space with memories of things veiled from my sight in some far's place. Gardens. The word is overcharged with meaning. It speaks of moonlight and a closing door, of birds at dawn, of sultry afternoons. Gardens. I seem to see low branches screening a vine-roofed arbor with a leaf-tiled floor where sunlight swoons. Stairways. The word winds upward to a landing, then curves and vanishes in space above. Lights fall, lights rise, soft lights that meet and blend. Stairways, and someone at the bottom standing expectantly with lifted looks of love, then steps descend. Gardens and stairways, they belong with song, with subtle sense of perfume, myrrh and musk, with dawn and dusk, with youth, romance, and mystery, and times that were and times that are to be, stairways and gardens. I really like that one. It's filled with a slightly extra amount of whimsy. But I enjoy that in poetry. I actually enjoy that in real life as well, but we're focusing on poetry at the moment. This one is called In an Old Garden by Madison Kawai. Old phantoms haunt it of the long ago, old ghosts of old-time lovers and of dreams. Within the quiet sunlight there, meseems, I see them walking where those lilies blow. The hardy flock sways to some garment's flow. The salvia there with sudden scarlet streams, caught from some ribbon of some throat that gleams. Petunia fair and flounce and fur below. I seem to hear their whispers in each wind that wanders mid the flowers. There they stand, among the shadows of that apple tree. They are not dead, whom still it keeps in mind, this garden, planted by some lovely hand that keeps it fragrant with its memory. I think we'll do this very last one, and then call it good. This last one is called The Garden of Dreams by Bliss Carman. My heart is a garden of dreams where you walk when the day is done, fair as the royal flowers, calm as the lingering sun. Never a drouth comes there, nor any frost that mars, only the wind of love under the early stars, the living breath that moves, whispering to and fro, like the voice of God in the dusk of the garden long ago. I bought this book and I wasn't really too sure what to expect, with it being a compilation of various works as opposed to being one from one specific author. I was very happy with it, and I hope that you were too. So let me know if you liked this, and if you did, which of the poems was your favorite. I really like reading videos, so my intent is to eventually incorporate more of these into the channel. But again, my aim is to also produce content that you enjoy. So your feedback is always welcome and appreciated. Luna is stretching in the background. I think that this is where we wind the video down. I wish you a wonderful and restful day, and I'll look forward to talking with you again very, very soon. Thank you for joining me.